doesn't appear on here.
It would, if we do that certain stuff, but
Right.
the other thing too is, there was one more.
Now, are you okay with this?
Well, no, my problem with that one, well, why don't we go through this
Okay.
after the meeting, all right? Because this is something that has to be really important in the process, and we're gonna get it together. Therefore,
Okay, we're gonna call the meeting to order. We're gonna go right into the public comments section, so we can take care of everybody. Just the regular rules here, of course, please don't speak out of turn, let everybody have their share, we'll recognize you. Please don't speak back and forth between each other, just to the front, and comments directed to the front, and ask us questions, and we'll try to give you the answers if we can, and if not, we'll get you something. And if you could just let us know you are for the minutes before, we appreciate it, before you ask your questions, so who wants to start it off?
I'll start.
Okay.
Craig Stevens, 1527 Silver Creek Road. Sadly, I had the DEP test my water 2 months ago, and I had previously 3 tests done when the laser pipeline was put in. What they found, just so you know, and I just picked them up from the post office, I was called on Friday and then talked to Mike O'Donnell yesterday, but I was in Virginia, my son's birthday. Well, she turned 8 on Monday, so I was out of town. But it looks like they're concerned that my iron spiked over 5 times higher since the last test had been done. And that just happened. They just did the test about 2 months ago. My manganese went up over 50%. They're concerned with that. And my turbidity is way up also. That has all changed now. I'm probably the only person in the area that has had 5 tests on this water in the last year. Starting in May, then we had July, September. And then just recently, I had not only DEP do it, but Tom Dara's group from Duke University, he has yet to turn those over to me, but hope they'll probably match what I've got. The concern, and this is talking to DEP, 2 things. We had the pipeline installation that went right behind my house. It's about 200 yards behind me. That's the one where they bored underneath Snow Hollow Road, and my house is the first house downstream from that. So I was quite aware when they had some IRTSs or blowouts because they ended up in my creek in the backyard. My concern is not just that, which we're gonna research whether that could have caused differences, but the problem there is the timeline. They installed that back in October of last year. So I had some done after that, which looked normal. Now the spike has happened. Mike O'Donnell flat out told me only 2 activities have gone on near me. Phil DePue's well went in with WPX, and the underground horizontal bores were done both northwest, which is straight up to the top of Snow Hollow Road, and southeast, which is Franklin Forks. I'm not pinning on anybody, I'm just telling you, all of a sudden, I've got a couple things going off the charts that concern the DEP enough to call me and highlight on this. Being that this is the sewer authority and overseeing water quality issues also, just wanna make sure we're aware. I'm at the very end of the side there, go ahead.
Just so everybody's aware, we only oversee the 2 sewer systems.
Perfect.
We don't take care of anything beyond the 2 systems around Laurel and Quaker.
Yeah.
Other than that, it goes to the township and their sewer enforcement officer.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
just so you know.
I'm just here tonight to let people know there has been changes. I'm at the very corner.
Okay.
Besides Nancy, besides Bertha, Nancy, and Roger, I'm the next houses in the very entering from Franklin Township. I just got the results today. I will present them also to the at the regular meeting. But my focus is, I mean, I'm a realist. I got my water tested 5 times. Would you like to know I didn't pay for one of them? If you didn't know, the DEP will test your water absolutely for free if you call them. They don't advertise that. And all you have to do is they call you back and they give you a 5-minute interview. And they want to see where your proximity to drilling. They also look at quarries. They look at anybody that's put a water well on another property near you. So you don't have to pay $100 to $1,000. How much have I paid for a water test? 0 for 5 tests. 3 were done by laser before, during, and after drilling. And then, I'll give you the number, anybody that wants, for Tom Dare, he's doing a whole study in the area, he's studied Salt Spring Park for the last 3 years.
See, is that the contact?
Duke University.
Oh,
Oh, DEP, Mike O'Donnell was the one that, yep.
and that's who will do the free water.
You just
session?
call, yeah, you call the office, it's the regional office in Wilkes-Barre, and just say, I have a concern, I've got activity happening nearby. Now, if you weren't at the meeting, at the township meeting, WPX was here presenting, and they made it quite clear they're not gonna be putting any drill bits in the ground until after summer ends. That was at least what they said. Couple things, they only have one rig, and secondly, they do not want to disturb anybody, they made it quite clear, at any of these recreational lakes here during the summer, which I thought was a very good PR move on their
That's
part.
good, yeah.
Very good, just, they're trying to take that in consideration, which I appreciated. My problem is they are the only driller in the area. Chesapeake, from what I can see, which I'm leased with, is not gonna be drilling anytime in the near future, they're having financial difficulty. But, so there's a band right through the lower end of Silver Lake Township that has no activity whatsoever where Chesapeake holds the leases. I asked, they did go into negotiation to potentially swap some leases to have drilling near me, but that fell apart because Chesapeake just doesn't, something happened where that didn't follow through. So, like I said, I think they have 10, if you look it up, there's 10 well pads planned by WPX in Silver Lake Township, and one by Carrizo, which is way down at the bottom. But, like I said, they put that on hold. That doesn't mean they're not clearing the pad sites and getting ready, that they are doing, we know that just from seeing here. But as far as the drilling goes, so, gives me a chance to kind of find out what's happening. I was concerned when it was endemic, and then we've got some noise being made from Franklin Forks, which I'm not making any blame until we know exactly what happened scientifically. I'm not interested, but I've watched some things. If you didn't read the paper today, Chesapeake's also having some big problems in Bradford County right now. And if you haven't seen them yet, go down to the bridge at the Forks and look at the nice bubbles going across, and you can light them on fire. And that goes right across. If you look from the houses that have had the water buffaloes installed, straight to the Hollenbeck site, that line is exactly across the creek. So this concerns me, it's anecdotal until we have the scientific evidence, but I live here, if you don't know me, my grandmother, Bernice Price, and 180 years on the same corner, I bought it. So my one focus is protection of my ancestral property for my 4 children, who will be my 7th generation owners, but I can't ask them to live there if the water has a problem. So my main concern is not what is happening to others, that's their problem, except for it seems to be getting closer and closer. And with the activity gonna start, I wanna make sure that we're clear, so I just wanted to make you guys aware, and I'll present my testing data to the supervisors and make sure they have it. But I'm not like some other people. Now, we have heard noises of a problem right above me on Snow Hollow Road. The people will not come forward or have not. And I'm just gonna tell you right now, in the work that you guys do, there are people that absolutely have had problems in the area, including during the laser installation. They will not raise their hand because I watch what happens in the news. You get attacked. If you haven't seen that, just go down and ask the 3 people with water buffaloes in Franklin Forks. They have literally been eviscerated down there by their own neighbors. I'm not gonna tolerate that, neither will I stay silent. If my coming forward, if I have a problem, protects anybody else in this room and in this community, that is my job as part of this community. And so I'm not picking on anybody, I don't know what happened, but there is a difference, and it's my obligation to report it and make sure that we all have an idea that there is a possible problem and maybe we should get checked. But don't go spend a lot of money until you call DEP and use some of our tax dollars to get a chance to get tested for free. That's what I wanted to also let you know. And do you handle anything from the lagoons?
The lagoons, yes.
Okay, and you're aware, right? I'm sure you are, that WPX announced that they were looking at buying water from us.
Yes.
And I'm just gonna let you know what I found highly offensive, and I did let Susan Oliver know, was they're gonna test the water to make sure it's high enough quality to be put down a hole to do this process.
Yes.
And my problem is, so far in the Forks, they've blamed the problems, if they are related to them, on everything. They blamed Salt Springs Park migration, they blamed the floods, they blamed well casing failure, and I'm waiting for Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, and Tooth Fairy, because I'm not kidding you. I've never seen any of them step forward and say, hey, we made a boo-boo, we're gonna fix it, so is it okay if we keep going? In my opinion, that's what we should get, as a community. If water quality issues happen to one of us, it can happen to all of us, so that's what I'm saying. And I know when I came to talk to you, that the lagoons, they want to withdraw, which is great. If we can make money and all those things, we can do it. I'm just kinda concerned that they're worried about the quality of water they're gonna put in the hole, but when our water quality changes, it's absolutely, hey, we can't help you, that was pre-existing. They'll line up already in Franklin Township, Susan Oliver had 3 people she listed at the meeting the other night. 80-year-old, a 40-year-old, that tell you all about these stories from before. All I know is, good luck. I've had 5 tests pre-drill, so, and this one's coming up bad from the DEP. Good luck on telling me my water was pre-existing and bad, because that won't work. So I'm recommending you get tested, so, you know, that's, it's just letting you guys know, it's for information, but I'll leave you for contact point, I will make sure that you have my phone number, that way if you have questions, and I'll make sure anybody that wants it can have copies of it, because I'm not hiding any problems that I have, I'm gonna make sure that we all are aware of it. And my number and address are on the back, thank you.
Well, just so you know, our council is aware of the issues that have been happening in the area. We are gonna make sure that if we do, it's not final yet, but if we do sell them any of the effluent, that we're definitely protected, rock solid. Can't, you know, blame anything on us, but
Sure.
also so you know that our effluent that comes out is treated and goes through chlorination and everything else, and is put directly into a stream.
Yep.
So it's good enough to put into a stream when it comes out of our plant. So we only let out the.
Is that Laurel Lake Creek that it goes into?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, that's my guy.
The Laurel Lake.
So that water that you
From the
do,
Laurel Lake, Quaker Lake Creek. Or
Yeah, I was-
Quaker Lake,
Little Rain
in the
Creek.
Lower Riney Creek.
oh, is it? Okay, because my backyard is Laurel Lake Creek, across the back of my property, at the house at least, I have my springs up on the big property. So I have 115 acres above the motocross track too, but I appreciate it. I haven't been to one of your meetings before, but I'm becoming very aware, and if you don't know, my business, Clean Life Systems, I've been doing water filtration and purification since 1989 as a profession,
Okay.
but not anywhere near what they're doing for any cleanup of this type of activity. Mine was simply taking chlorine and things out of water and residential in big cities, not
Okay.
anything to do with this, but
Yeah.
I do know something about water quality, and I know one thing, without clean water, there isn't any humans or animals living nearby, because as soon as you ingest it, you become part of the problem, not the solution, but I really appreciate you letting me give you guys the information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I'm Brett Jennings, I'm from Great Bend, I'm on the Borough Council, I'm also on the Halsted Great Bend Joint Sewer Authority. With Pages Lake, they have failing septics a couple a year. The original plan with New Milford was they were gonna hook in with a sewer line. I don't know if the township there will allow it, but I'm trying to get information on the smaller systems, on, I've talked with New Milford or Montrose where they hooked in the 3 lakes. And, I've talked with Lake Cary down in that area, where they're looking at building a sewer plant without looking at other options first. And I've been talking with the president of the Pages Lake Association, and I even know that the sewer plant at the Armory is not functioning properly. And I'm just trying to get more information, probably from you. It probably won't just take one night. I might have to call, I know you guys have your names on the website. And, but yeah, and another thing he just said, when we have our sludge taken out, or if we press the solids and ship them out to a landfill, or if there's land application, we actually have to have the waste characterization. If there's stuff getting into the wells, it could affect that application, where they wouldn't be able to do any land application, which is cheaper than sending it to a sewer plant like Scranton or in other places where they may not be able to treat it.
It's a good point.
And that's another thing we've talked about, was if we start having issues with people that are on wells, because there's the wells in New Milford that supplies New Milford, there's a well that supplies the high school, and then in the township and a few places in Halsted and Great Bend, there's a couple water wells that supplies water to people. And it could, you know, we know it could become an issue if anything happened to the aquifer there. And then there's Comfort's Pond too, where we get a lot of our water.
We don't really have information for you on the systems. We don't, that's not what we do. On, like a prepackaged system or something like that, there's a lot of companies out there
Your
that have.
collection system,
Our collection system?
right,
Oh,
you know, I know, you know, you may have some areas that are gravity, other areas that are low pressure. I don't know if you have any pumping stations.
probably one of the best, sources of information for that for you would be with Mills Engineering, because they're the engineering house that designed these two lagoon systems originally, so they have the most,
Yeah, I'm also aware of what they won't allow now.
yeah.
And that's unfortunate, but,
But the collection system, pressurized collection systems are becoming more and more popular, so there's a lot of systems out there.
in fact, we're having one put in the township there. They're between the borough and 81. But one of our recommendations was to have the grinder pump system, not underground, but where you can actually get to it and operate on it if there's any problems. Because I know New Milford was actually having grease problems with the pump, with the grinder pumps, or the grease, and they even have grinder pumps in their system to help pressurize it. And they would actually have cowlers of grease form.
You're talking like fats, oils, and greases background, and we're just starting, we're undertaking a 5-year plan, and we're just starting to look at that too.
Yeah.
The other place that I would say, have you talked to Site Specific?
No, I haven't.
Because they're the ones that helped, Mills designed it, but Site Specific, we were one of the first, well, the first in Pennsylvania, but they kind of installed the system, and then they came over, they did Quaker first, and then they did Laurel. They would be another great source on the pressurized systems.
They can tell you just about everything you want to know about pressurized systems.
Kevin Callahan is the president of Site Specific, and I can give you his phone number. They've been very, I mean, they do come up now, generally once a month. We've kind of started working with them more closely, was it in November? Well, we were just having a series of pump failures, and our system's very aging, and we've got an awful lot of things that we need to address, that just, we've been patching, and we have to start looking to the future and how we want to approach stuff. But I would say he's another great guy to talk to, very knowledgeable.
Sandy Chambers, Quaker Lake, and along those lines, Julie, are you all aware that it looks as though we're still having a sewer leak along Lakefront Road?
It's been tested, it was tested last fall. And
It's green and brown and gooey.
Where's it?
it's
In
in
front of
a
Shirley
ditch in front
Keller's.
of Shirley Keller's, and it is near where they had the plug last year,
Mhm.
but it has been gone back there, and it is not, it's attested, it is not sewage.
Okay, that's good.
It's water that has been in there constantly, it's a spring, I think. And we have one in my front yard that's gooey, and we've had it tested, and we had it dug up for the tune of $350. It's groundwater.
Okay, good to know, thank you.
Anything else? Yes.
This is my first time here, so I'd like to know, since you started with comments in the beginning, then you do a presentation or you discuss issues?
No, we just go through the regular sort of things, review, pay the bills, things like that. It's very simple, just some issues that we need to take care of to run the systems. That's basically what we do. We run the two systems and take care of the pumps, and that's the extent of what we do, really.
And then is there, after listening to whatever goes on, is there another opportunity for comments afterwards?
I suppose, well, no, not really, but if there's anything you have a question about, we try to answer for you.
Oh, okay, so you could say something. I guess I have one concern after last month's Silver Township meeting and listening to WPX and the PR person, Susan Oliver, and she mentioned that they wanted to buy water from the lagoon
Yes,
and
the effluent.
the
That
effluent?
would normally go into the stream.
Right, and is that located near the sewer plant? Where is the lagoon? I wasn't clear on that.
The lagoon is the sewer plant.
Oh, it is the sewer plant, so the water that's there, like a little pond, that's the lagoon? And then I'm concerned about, because of the traffic, so I don't know what kind of a size truck they're talking about. I mean, I can imagine a water tanker, I don't know if it's anything bigger or smaller than that. And then she said there would be only one truck probably a day, and I find that hard to believe, that they would go through all this trouble to ask for lagoon water and then just come with one truck a day. So I'm envisioning more than that, and I'm concerned about the traffic going down that little dirt road, which sounds like they also said that they're going to possibly redo or fix so they can go up and down that little road to get to the sewer plant. And that's a concern for me, because there are children on that road, of course, and animals. People have pets. And if there's one truck, there will be more. And I don't understand why they even need the water when they have access to all kinds of waterways in our county, besides the Susquehanna River and whole other creeks that they have permits to. Why they would zero in on a little lagoon in a lake community and this way infiltrate the lake with their trucks. So I would just say that I, as a resident of the lake community, Laurel Lake, would find it unacceptable to have them infiltrate the middle of the community so that they can get supposedly one truckload of water, and this way sort of like put anyone at risk at this point. So I would just suggest, please reconsider or consider it very seriously to why bother letting them come in when they can get water anywhere. So that would be my concern.
Why they want ours exactly, I can't speak for them. I know they want it, and I know that we are trying to address issues that we have within the systems, new pumps, things like that, repairs, and any income we can get so that we don't have to raise the rates for the users is good. So that's why we've agreed to look at selling the water to them. Now, the amount of water will be based on what the Susquehanna River Basin allows them to take, which they estimated would be a truck every day or two. So every other day or every day. And it would be a truck similar in size to the propane delivery trucks or the oil delivery trucks that go up and down the roads, usually these roads and the other roads around here. Once a day. And we were also going to limit their time when they could come, like Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It was going to be very, very limited. It was going to be very non-intrusive to the neighbors as much as possible. They were going to be responsible for maintaining the roadway if any damage is done to it. And we've also kicked around the idea, but it would require probably the agreement of everyone along that road, the access road to the Laurel Lake Lagoon, that is, of trying to have them preemptively fix up the road and or widen it before they even start anything as a part of the agreement. If the residents can get together and agree on that, great. If they can't, well, we'll see what we can do. But again, we're trying to look out for the system, trying to look out for everybody else by putting restrictions on when they can go through, so it's not 2 in the morning and there's a truck going by your house or something, and things like that.
Like my house.
Yeah.
And then how much could you actually make when you're selling water? What's the rate per, what is it, per gallon? I mean, how much could you actually make that even this would be even a consideration with one truck every 1 or 2 days? I can't imagine it being that much money unless, do you have a figure in mind what you're actually going to make from one truck?
From one truck, it would be, I don't know, maybe $40 or $50.
I think it's about $250 a week.
Yeah.
So for
It'd be like
$250 a
$250
week, you're,
$1,000 a month per location. That buys a couple of 1 or 2 pumps that need to be replaced in the system every month. That buys,
well, which, you have more than one location? Are you including Quaker Lake?
yes.
So they want Quaker Lake and Laurel Lake, and they're saying one truck, 1 or 2 days for both lakes.
Right. And the Quaker, there's only one resident nearby there, by the access road. And again, they'd still have the same restrictions over there on time and amounts per day. So, again, we understand the issues in the area and trying to accommodate everybody as best we can and still try to keep everyone's rates low. So, any other questions you had?
That would be it for now. Yeah, thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, thank you. You have a question or? No. Okay. All right. We'll just move on then. We reviewed the minutes from last month's meeting, and I'll take a motion to approve the minutes. Motion. Second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. I'll take a motion to pay the bills. We've already reviewed the bills for this month.
I make a motion that we pay the bills as reviewed earlier.
Second on that?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Third issue is to review the payment plans. We were gonna have we're gonna make a motion to review the payment plans and update them for the new amounts with the billing going out. One there.
Mike Merritt's gonna.
Oh, he's got them, right? Okay. So Mike's gonna review the payment plans and make updates on them with the new bills included. So we're gonna make that motion. I don't know if we really need to, but we can make a motion for that. If anybody wants to.
I'll make a motion. To
Julie,
update
make
the
a motion.
payment
I'll second.
plans.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. We're gonna also send out statements and add interest for the people who have equipment but not yet paid for emergency equipment such as new control panels and so forth, wires for the control panels, things like that. There's just a few, I believe.
We're gonna start adding interest.
Right, we're gonna start adding interest, so.
How long have we went to allow this to go? I mean, do we wait a month? And if they haven't paid it in a month, we start adding interest?
It's like any account.
Yeah, it's gonna be, I guess, added
I mean, when
after
does
the
it
next
become-
statement.
So if,
So once that statement goes out, that's gonna start adding interest.
okay,
Once it starts aging.
Yeah.
So like a 30-day.
they
It'll be
got a
30 days,
30-day
1%
account.
per month. 1%
Grace period.
Yeah.
Pay it.
Okay, so they got a 30-day account to pay it. If within 30 days we add the interest and the new statement and just keep going, right?
Right.
I just wanna make sure because I wanna get it squared away to make it
Quick
automated.
books, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
We're also going to, in the future, if a contractor needs an emergency, a panel in an emergency, or a homeowner does, ask the contractor to pick it up and be responsible for it,
okay,
for the panel and the installation, and for the payment of it. So. We're gonna,
So then you get a contractor, don't you say?
we're gonna pass it.
we're gonna build a contractor.
Contractor for the
If
control
they pick it
panels
up.
and stuff, if they pick it up to do the install other than our people.
Then the contractor can just build a home for everything. We'll just-
So we're gonna sell it to the
Yeah,
contractor.
unless they decide that ahead of time they wanna pay for it,
Yeah.
but when it's emergency and they just pick it up,
Okay.
Contractor's responsible.
whoever picks
for
it up, which is the
and
contractor, pays.
pays for it. Okay.
Just so we don't have an issue with,
We're not gonna be chasing them.
right, people not paying and so forth. We need to take care, we're gonna,
Transfer money from funds.
oh, I don't have that one here.
It was we updated
Oh,
it.
this one.
And just give them all to me.
Okay, so we have to make a motion to transfer money,
The June payment for.
June payment for Silver Lake to the Silver Lake Body Water Fund.
I make that motion. It automatically goes into their savings account. You just mean when the payment is,
It's due in June,
Yeah.
so just to make sure all the money has been put in, and then whatever we need to add, we'll have to transfer.
okay.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to transfer the money for the June payment to the Silver Lake Body Water Fund.
I'll make that motion.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. We are going to start the mowing of the, we have 3 prices, and it looks like Matt Flaherty right now that is the best price. Has the insurance. We'll also have to make sure he signs a release and gets his shots. If he,
Or he signs the waiver.
or signs a waiver. So I'll entertain a motion to accept Matt Flaherty to do the mowing at $250 the first time and $100 each additional time every.
I'll make a
Time
motion to
thereafter.
accept Matt Flaherty's
more
bid
than-
for mowing.
For both lagoons.
Is it $100 per lagoon
$100 per
$100.
lagoon, yeah.
or per lagoon?
$250 for the first time,
Right.
and then after that, anytime.
And that'll be mowing, trimming. Take everything down that's standing basically, within the
Inside.
fences and around the
Edges and
buildings.
stuff.
So, Martha made the motion, I have a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Alright.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. And again, we'll have to make sure he gets us, does the release liability waiver and, provides us with the, insurance certificate.
And social security number.
Mhm.
Yeah, actually, I'll have to fill out a W-9.
Okay.
Okay. Now, we're going to buy a wet dry vac for the truck, for them to clean out the tanks when they pull a pump or service a pump.
That's just to clean out the dirt and dust and debris in the tanks, not the
Water.
dirt and any.
Whatever's in there. It'll be sewage or whatever's in there. When it gets down to the very little bit.
Okay.
The sludge at the bottom.
Rocks, whatever it happens to be.
Bottom
Sand.
parts of the grinder pumps that it fell on.
They're finding a lot of things in
He knows.
I'm laughing.
there. Yeah. So I'll entertain a motion to buy a wet dry vac.
Or use for
Newer used. All, or anybody want to make that
I'll
motion?
make a motion that we buy
Okay.
either new or used
Hang on a
shop
second.
vac, clean up pumps.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carried. Okay. So, for all those who have not taken any action on the need, access issues, interferences, or problems with their control panel or alarms, we need to send a follow-up letter with a copy of the new and the old letter. We can do Laurel's in June and Quakers in July, basically, if that will work. Will that work for you, Cindy?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do a new letter with a copy of the old letter, so they know that they need to take some action. Hopefully we'll get a few more people. We're gonna get estimates on weed removal, and if you could get a written estimate from G's on the weed removal, That'd be great, just if you're already talking to them about it.
Well,
Okay, and we're gonna get 3 as per needed by the regulations, so that we've got everything in line. 3 copies of, at least, or more, of weed removal estimates, and we'll try to get those together by the next meeting. As part of our ongoing long-term plan, we're gonna try to get together a job description for each person. Doug's already been told about it, if Sandy and Mike could put a little job description in, not by next month, but maybe the month after, whenever you can, just outlining everything you're supposed to do and so forth for the long-term plan review. We're gonna include that.
So you want it by July meeting?
Yeah, if we could have it by the July meeting, that would be good.
Maybe before the July meeting, like a week before the July
Yeah,
meeting,
we
so
can-
that we
So
have
it
an
can be included.
opportunity to review it and
The July meeting is what, April,
July?
early July? Sorry.
I don't have a calendar with me.
The June meeting, I know the June meeting is not the July.
The July meeting would actually be on the 25th,
Okay.
so if you want it.
wait a minute, I got July 24th as.
Oh, you're right, 24th.
Yeah, 24.
Okay.
I looked at the wrong day.
So if we go the week before,
We could have it the week before the
Like the
July.
17th,
The
16th or
17th.
17th,
Okay,
that would help.
if we have it the 16th or 17th, that'd be great. We're gonna put the property owner fact sheet on the website.
I'll send you
Right now, there's been no change on anything with WPX, so, that I know of.
They submitted their permit to the Susquehanna River Basin, that's where it is.
I don't know how long that takes, if it's like a few weeks or a few months or what, but that's where they are, so there's no changes in anything we're doing with them.
Yeah, the water testing was appropriate and good, and was consistent. We test water twice a month, and Mike sends it into benchmark analysis. And so far, the testings are very similar.
And what do you test for?
Oh,
Mike, you wanna-
I don't have the list of everything they tested for off the top of my head.
Well, I think she
It's
said.
like
That's what we
testing.
test for monthly.
CBOD 5, TSS, which is total suspended solids, ammonia, fecal coliform. Basically what I'm testing for right now.
It's kind of what's required by our permit, right?
Correct. They did more testing, but we're not required to do that, so we do not.
I don't know if we have to do the stuff about the liens out here, or
we have to do any changes?
I'll do some things here.
Oh. That's
But I
right.
don't know if we wanna go through the whole thing, or, and then go into executive session.
You don't have to adjourn.
We can just go and come back out, but I think a lot of feeling awkward, but I think.
Do we need to pass this?
Yeah. That's what our decision is. but
We gotta talk to him.
Okay.
I wonder if we should, want to start and put it on, to do it private.
just gonna go into executive session for a few minutes
Yes, Julie.
and ask Julie so to join us.
My foot's on it.
At least the fun part.
Hi. So what are they saying, that they want people to fix the road?
I have no idea.
So it sounded like,
Honest to goodness, I have absolutely no idea.
it sounded like what he was saying, that they want them to fix the road before the people who live on the road help fix the road so they can put their truck in there. That's gonna be a tough one to get.
Yeah, because if we permitted ours, it'd be, what, $4,100, we'd be able to just, pretty,
I was
Either
more under the impression they're gonna have them
240,
fix that road before they do it, not have the people on the road do it.
That's what I thought when I heard the township meeting, that's how it sounded, but now the way, what's his name, man, in the middle?
Nick Demery.
Nick,
No, I
the way
think-
Nick is
I
talking.
think he said they were gonna require the company to do it.
No, but they
Yeah.
said only to repair it, but he said initially, so that they can use the road, the people have to come together, because that road is in very bad shape. It's always in good shape. So that they want the people to come together, that's what I heard.
I think, isn't that road a private road?
That's what the clarified her, but I think it's the WPX to fix it. But I honestly, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm out of the
I know a
loop.
lot
Is
of
it a private
roads.
road?
A lot of
Yeah, it's kind of a
roads.
private road, you usually plow it, don't you?
Correct.
It's not a township road.
No, it is a private road.
It's a
Around,
private
around
road.
a lot of the lakes are private. And
But there's
Oh,
five,
yeah.
I would say there's at least maybe 5 occupied homes year-round along that road. What would you say? At least 5.
Marion's on the corner, then Powell's, Byers up the top. and I don't know who's in the
The
two
two
trailers.
trailers,
That's it.
that's 5. You got 5 occupied year-round homes on that road. And you're talking children and pets. One house has 4 children, another house has 1 child,
when you figure.
and everybody has dogs. I mean, yeah, everybody, I don't know about the Marions, you might have a dog.
I've never seen a dog there, but
Well, the
there's
reason
not one there.
They want to go after, water from sewer plants, I'm surprised they haven't.
Yeah, why would they do that? I mean,
They
it makes no
haven't
sense.
come to us or Susquehanna or.
I mean, it seems like such a small
Crossroads.
amount of water when they need so much, but why would they go after a sewer plant in a little community?
What the truck route?
And then they have to bring their trucks in there and go in the middle.
Depends on the truck.
It doesn't make any
Sounds like
sense. It doesn't seem worth it. I don't understand why they even bother. They have to go through the permit process. They have to then test the water. They said they wanna test the lagoon.
Which they
So
do.
they're going through all this trouble. I don't get it. Meanwhile, they got access to everything else, the river, the creeks.
Well, if they did ours, then it's, you're looking 240, 250, 250, I don't think SRBC would give us, but 240 probably. I mean, you're looking how many trucks a day?
240,000 gallons a day.
I mean, that's a lot of trucks.
40, yeah, 45.
When it's a one-way street over there.
It might be a bigger truck, you know, what size truck, because he's saying the truck like a propane truck.
5,000 gallon.
That's a
is
smaller
usually-
truck than the water
Yes, it
tanker
sure
trucks.
is.
Right, that's smaller than a regular water tanker truck that we normally see. So what
Yeah,
size
I
are
would
they?
think a water tanker's 5,500, 6,000, right?
Right.
So what's the propane
5,000.
size?
I-
Well, I think it's smaller, the way it looks smaller. So I'm assuming they're gonna bring the bigger one.
Propane's a lot of times just one axle.
Yeah, so he
So
said,
it's
but he
lightweight.
said size like propane, but do we know that for sure, what size? Then if you got the bigger ones coming in there, what happens in the winter? When that road becomes like icy, unless we have, if we have a real winter, not a fake
Yeah.
winter. If we have a real winter with snow,
Not pretend.
ice, and then you're trying to keep up with it, plowing it, because it's a private road, and this monster big thing comes in. And we got ditches all along the edge, those ditches, you make one false move,
You're in it.
you're done. And
Yeah,
then
you're in it for good.
you're in it for good, right? So to me, it sounds like
And high-tech-
crazy risky
High-tech
thing to
doesn't
do
repair
for.
big trucks like
Are
that.
they
Well,
that
maybe they do.
desperate? Are you guys that desperate, you need $1,000 a month?
I can't answer you, to be honest with you.
I'll have to ask him maybe, are you that desperate, you need $1,000 a month to risk?
What's the discharges for each one? Are they like about 10,000 a day or?
The permit is for 67 and some change, and the other's 42.
Cause I know they feed in little creeks in Old Bus, cause we got the Susquehanna there,
Great,
we can draw more.
great.
And you're on Quaker
Your-
Lake, so is
Your
that road a
requirements are much
private
more
road
lenient
to
than
the
ours,
sewer plant, or,
We have to,
because you discharge it in the river, and
That's a
the solution of pollution is pollution.
but you only
The
have four, you
faster
said
to
one
the
house on there.
easier
Actually,
the
we
permit
have-
numbers.
we have to
So
test for a
records
lot more.
It is, I don't know if I've seen it
Stuff
someplace
out.
in
Then
the
there's
back.
the White House, and then there's the big curve that you take.
We have no industrial.
I've never seen it, so I don't know where it is, I mean, I've
Yeah,
gone in the
we
back
have
of the
no
lake,
But we have a couple machine shops,
I don't know where they put
garages,
it.
so
Marshall Brown, the
you
contractor.
don't test for more.
Oh, is that in the
And
back of the lake,
just-
or on Laurel Lake Road?
Our sludge, I
Oh,
know,
it
it's
is on Laurel Lake Road?
$1,000.
So what do you do, if you're coming from here,
Then
and you
you
go
have
towards
the
Quaker Lake, you're on Quaker Lake Road, then
stuff
what
out
do
of
you
the
make
press,
right
you
or left?
know, that's
How do you
another
find it to
800.
get to the sewer plant?
So either way you get rid of it, you're talking 1,800.
Just before you get to the lake?
Sometimes you can't press the stuff out
After-
fast enough,
Just at Marshall Brown's
so you
house?
do them both.
Yeah, there's a road.
We're in a different
There's a
world.
road alongside his house?
He's gotten that one private to be his own and exchanged that for another road. So that he doesn't have trucks going down his side.
So it's right off Quaker Lake Road, but is it, do I have to pass
You can't
Marshall's
see
house?
it.
You can't see it, 'cause I've never seen
No,
anything.
it's way down.
Oh, it's way down. And there's no sign, no nothing to indicate, right?
To anybody playing it, doing nothing.
No, no,
So
no.
is it before
No.
you get to Marshall's house or after?
It's all posted too, you're not supposed to be down in there.
Oh, I'd like to know where it is. I never even knew that it would be, it's hidden in there, right next to his
It looks
house.
like swimming pools.
Well, yeah, I've seen his, I've seen it over there years ago, so I went over there and I saw the, like, pools.
Yep.
How many pools you got?
2.
2 pools. Yeah, it looked interesting. I mean, it was like nothing I've
Actually,
ever
you
seen.
can see that in Google Earth real good.
Oh, you can see
It's
the
a nice
Google Earth.
green spot.
That's funny. We have a black and white one.
But now you're
Oh, you got
fenced.
nice
You're
looking swimming pools.
fenced.
No, you wouldn't want to
We're
swim
always fenced
there.
at Laurel,
You were?
Yep.
It feels like there's new fencing all around. You were always fenced?
always fenced.
Oh, does it look like new?
Well, the lagoons,
It's
yeah,
always
Oh, yeah?
issues.
I couldn't remember. I felt like there was new fencing where it was
There since
higher.
I've done
Really? How many years are you there now?
it, 22.
Oh my God.
Give or take.
What's fun is when you go in.
And now, what are they talking about, these new
clarify
control
what's
panels?
passed, though.
What does that mean? They want us to have new panels or something?
The stuff from the microscope.
So I understand.
What you have.
Does not, we don't have them yet?
No.
So we're gonna get them, so we have to pay for them, or?
Correct.
It's
That's what I understand.
for the, I should say, for the sewer.
Oh, how, do you know how much they go for?
Sandy could tell you that.
How much are the control panels?
I think it's $269 for the panel itself, then you have your labor.
$225 to install.
Oh my God. You mean like $500?
We're not in the rigors anymore.
And do you have to have it, or you, is,
I have no idea.
well,
You're learning more every minute here.
that's gonna wait. And if they think there's a group of people there gonna fix the road, they're gonna be waiting centuries for that one.
That's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen, right? It's not gonna happen.
No, they'll make the companies have to do it. The
But it's
company
not
wants
what
to
Dick
drive
was
on it.
saying, yeah.
Yeah, if the company wants to drive on it.
So the people are not gonna do it.
No way. Well, I wouldn't. If they wanna drive on it, take your trucks on it, then go ahead and repair it.
I don't know if that road's been repaired for years. Has anything been done on it?
Not for quite a long time.
See, that, anyway, that.
It's got some beautiful potholes
Mhm.
that are,
It's like the problem we can have is
It's a good
on
thing,
Bridge
so shoot
Street,
down.
the railroad
I
company
noticed that you
actually
lose half your car.
owns that bridge, but they won't take any responsibility for it. And it was like 3 or 4 years ago, they finally did a bridge inspection on it. The state never knew it was there. And it went in the same time, you know, the bridge by Mess's Fireworks? It was put in the same time as that, and never been inspected. Never had a record for it.
It's embarrassing.
And, you know, the rail company's
What's your
like,
test
oh,
like?
we don't own it, and I'm
DEP
like,
test?
here's the paperwork right here. We don't own it, see, it's not our
Yes.
name. It's and/or assigned, yes, your name is assigned. So, I usually gotta punch through. They wanna fix it.
Why do you think WPX is testing lagoon, when the lagoon looks like clear water, right? Looks
Mhm.
pretty good, why would
It's
they
clean
want,
enough to drink.
clean enough to drink, right? Why would they wanna test it? And maybe it's
See that
required,
I'm not lying, I guess.
Everybody
The reason we
else
test
around
with
the
benchmark is to prove to the state that I'm not lying to when I do my tests.
Mhm.
It's required by law, and that's.
So maybe it's
the way it
required
is.
by the permit, maybe by the SRBC, maybe it's required.
Like every so often, you have to do 24 hours. You have to do 24-hour sampling?
Yep.
Yeah. We're looking at getting a rotary drum sampler.
We do comp 8, we don't do comp 24, we do comp 8.
Yeah, that's who did the work for laser was benchmark.
State certified lab.
I use benchmark for work.
Mike,
Yes.
you might come in for a minute while we're in executive session. Thank you.
Your pH is like 8.3.
Mhm.
This is a water well?
Yeah. The fly was manganese and iron. He jumped pretty high from the previous. Well, 5 times more than the iron, that was a little bit. He scared me, called Friday, left a message, he sent it to you, but I needed to talk to you before.
Yeah, it's
What?
bad right before the weekend.
That's
It's-
not what you want to hear.
That's
No,
not
I was
what you
away,
wanna
'cause it's like, oh, yeah, great, here it comes. Drum roll, please.
Well, you seem to have their attention and they care, and that's good.
Well, I have to be,
How soon is
you gotta be responsible. I was shocked to find out, because there's a couple restaurants down 29,
Mm.
if a restaurant is considered a public supply, if they serve over 60 days in a year, or 25 people a day, it can be either or. I didn't know that. So then it's public, so it's not private, so they can, and then they said, the time frame they have between if they notice a volume or quality reduction, which could be if it discolored or if the quantity drops down, they have 1 hour by law in the state of Pennsylvania to call the DEP emergency line, 1
How
hour.
likely is that to be discovered?
Yeah.
By the owner?
Yeah, well,
How
if
likely
if
is
it changes color.
Discoloration,
Yeah.
no.
Reduction, you could tell, I mean, if you normally turn on water, it comes out pretty fast, but then all of a sudden it slows way down, that would be the biggest thing that you can tell, but I was shocked, I thought they'd have, 48 hours, they'd have,
1 hour?
they have 1 hour.
That means
Once
that
they
they're
notice
gonna
it.
be, that means everybody's in violation, no one's gonna do that.
The reason they probably do the 1 hour, so they make sure they
Instant
call sometime
violation.
during that day, but, yeah, so, and then of course, no restaurant wants to call and say they have a problem, because
Right.
it's
Close it
essential
down.
to turn off the,
Mhm.
shut everything down until you get some resolution, which, well, the testing of the water alone takes at least 6 to 8 weeks to get that, so that would be interesting, but like I said, what I get most scared of is somebody doesn't report because they don't wanna have a problem, but then it goes on. Then if you're a public source, that's what the reason they do that hour is they they said, they don't wanna give any wiggle room for somebody to go, shh, don't tell anybody, cause they might shut us down. Well, then it's a criminal violation if they go past it, so you pretty much better tell them if you're having a problem. Cause then you're not affecting just your family or your animals at your house, you're affecting how many people come and eat there every day, so. I'm guessing that would probably be, for liability purposes, would probably be good to let people know anyway.
You know, I heard from Fish and Boat about the bubbles in the creek.
Yeah.
And they said methane is not considered a problem for the fish.
Well, but that's their job, is
So
the
they
aquatic
said-
life, but
So they said,
changes would be the thing. that-
yeah, so they said they're not doing anything further.
They won't, but they'll call the EP and say, you better figure out how this is going on.
Yeah, they said they
before."
were gonna, it goes to
Oh,
DEP.
yeah,
But the thing is, if methane's coming up, other things could be coming up.
correct.
Right.
If there's a crack that allows methane, it can carry other things with that.
There might be other stuff in there that may not be so healthy for the fish.
Well, it's not just that, you know what the line is with the industry, we've never had a proven case of contamination from a horizontally fracked well. We'll prove it in court.
Water samples for like schools, for lead and copper rules. And then like, there's a restaurant, under the legal definition,
Good
it's
question.
transient,
Learning a lot, it's not bad.
non-community drinking water source.
And you're right, there's a balance, and they use the fashion once a month, but, or a week.
Whereas like a
1,000
day
a
person
month,
or a school.
$250 a week.
250
It's,
times
1,000 a
two,
month.
times two.
non-transit, community drinking water system.
$250 a week, 500,
That's
2 weeks.
$50 a trip, 5 days. a
And
week.
No, but I think that was the
water
total.
well for like.
I think it was per
I
lake.
think it's pretty
It's a
good.
community
That wasn't
drinking
clear.
water.
Yes, that wasn't clear.
They don't even have chickens into that.
I'm telling you, if they're gonna fix the road, those people are on it, because if they're gonna fix the road,
Like
they
either
want
kind
it
of
for that and
We
smooth
have
it.
a senior
That
center.
might be, but it remains to be seen, the people on the road, so we kind of up to them.
If we were on a
So,
well, we actually, the
If they
borough
don't
actually has 3
actually-
wells in the borough. They're all capped off right now,
The corner of the road.
just in case.
And the door.
If we had to, get them going again.
It's gonna go past the house.
Whose house is going for shrubs and,
Is it sure? Is it real?
yeah.
Why is it?
Do you remember in Dean Mountain, they had natural spring water, they used that in their restaurant and for the house guests.
Family.
That's a little troublesome.
Oh, I do. I go into schools, and if
Property
they had
owners,
one school,
property
just contact us.
You can see them,
In 1994, they did some testing. They're supposed to do testing
Recently.
every year
Once they come
until
up
they
with something,
prove that they don't have a problem
Just
with
went up that area.
have different
Pretty-
schools.
I went up
And
Arrow.
then they can reduce it to 3 years after that.
Full amount of.
And we're just a little bit behind. They're like, well, they also get their water from a public drinking water source. So there were
A
some
cottage,
restrictions
like a
off of
one-story
them.
cottage.
Except that drinking water source had 10% or 10% or more of their required number of samples each year. The last one they did
Up there,
was
but I
over
just
the
realized that this
10%
here it
rule.
says,
So it's like, guess you guys are,
Arrow.
and then I talked with them too,
Just
and
went up
Have a
that
little
way.
one.
oh shoot, we
And
forgot
then
to
this is-
test last year, so I was like, sure, you forgot to test you the year after you did that test. Because you went over the 10%. So now they have to do 60 residential structures. Moving to the city and.
One of my daughters lives by Cornell property, across the creek from Cornell property, and she's got the big alarm box on her lawn. Boy, do I look for that red light every time I come in now. That's that big. And she's their alarm system, really, she's reported a couple times now, the water in the creek is in your building. You maybe better come and send somebody to turn the electricity off.
Two different universities handling their environmental issues, like environmental. So, and then other.
Okay.
Too much.
We just had a couple of legal issues to go over. And
But then this has to go on the Okay? I'll go through it with you. Lose it myself. Okay.
I guess all I have for correspondence this month is something from the State Association of Boroughs on training for trenching, excavation, and confined space stuff. It's like mostly safety training. So, does anyone else have any other questions or anything that we've discussed since the last round? Anything we can help you?
When you mentioned the 1,000 a month, is that for the 2 lakes? How much money you're gonna make from this big water sale? Is that one
No,
lake?
Each
Lake is about 1,000 a
Each
month?
lagoon system, yeah.
Each lagoon
so-
system?
It's
Yeah,
$2,000.
So 2,000
It doesn't seem
altogether?
like a lot, but to the system, it's a lot because, I mean, a brand new pump,
It's like $24,000 a year,
yeah,
so it's significant.
that buys a lot of pumps, that buys like 10 pumps, and we need to, there, a lot, some of them that we're started replacing were 30 years old, and they only last so long, so,
Our goal is to try and keep the prices down for the consumers.
yeah.
That's 50 users fees.
Yeah, yeah. that's
And we
what-
don't have 50 new users coming
No,
up.
Yeah.
no.
It's key.
Do you need any extra insurance if they're gonna be coming in with their,
They're gonna have to cover all the insurance.
In case something-
They have to
in
bond
case
the road.
something, they have to bond the road,
Yep,
they have to
they're gonna
bond
have to bond
the
the road.
private road, that little road?
They're gonna have.
Gus Park Lane?
Yep, any road they drive on, they're gonna have to bond, they said, so we are gonna make sure we get a copy of their insurance and the bond and everything with this, because I've heard so many horror stories around the county, so I wanna make sure we get everything covered up front. That's something we've definitely all agree on, so,
East Lake Road,
what's that?
East Lake Road right now is the problem.
Where, that's the,
Going up,
5 pages.
from Pages up to, the Highlands Road. There's some issues that somebody said something and the company said.
So
You do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And did you say that the WPX would be repairing the road themselves? They're not gonna require the locals to repair it, or?
They have a contracting crew, I guess, that they have out, so if any damage that's done,
How about to start, because they're not gonna drive on that if there's problems with the road already.
we're gonna approach them about that, try to work it into the deal.
Right.
To do a lot, I don't know if they could widen the road or anything, but I think that would require everyone along that road
Yeah, that's,
to agree on it.
the people on the road only own to the edge, they don't own the road.
They don't, okay, so,
The survey lines go straight up along the edge of the property.
are they? Okay, so I guess they wouldn't be able to do that, but to the best that we can, we wanna try to have them improve the road for the residents.
Because we're gonna have to make a spot to turn around in
Sure.
there and
Yeah.
everything.
Oh, man.
Probably from my experiences on Silver Creek Road, which is the busiest road for the truck traffic. And the sad news is 400 trucks a day and not one doing anything in Silver Lake Township. Of course, they're working in Franklin, working in Liberty, because they have to transport it. But the one I saw was the safety. We still haven't got a full, complete answer from what happened to John Jones. Well, that truck, from what I heard,
Yeah,
had caged brakes and the whole, I mean, just, and if you notice, not one truck is being pulled over in this entire area. I mean, I moved in 2010 in January, and the first year, I used to do a loop, 8 miles to Montrose one way, 167, and then 29 back. There used to be trucks pulled over. Every time I did that loop, there'd be at least 1 or 2 or 3 trucks pulled over. I've never seen a truck pulled over in the last year. I've never seen one. Have you seen a truck pulled over anywhere?
not that I can recall,
No,
but I've seen the crews out to find them
I understand.
around here,
Yeah.
but,
My concern is the safety. I don't really wanna have a repeat of any problems
Oh,
that
yeah.
happened with
Is
the.
that our police or would that be?
well, it's both. The state police has,
Well, we don't
this is
have-
beyond
You know, they don't have scales, so it's
Right.
a very big expense to get it done, so I understand ours don't have the scales.
Right, now I understand that the training Montrose has the training, Montrose has the scales, so
Yeah,
it's
they
not,
hit them there, but I'm
it's
just
not
saying.
outside of our reach if you wanna, but that's not something we do, it's something the supervisors
Correct, I'm just
do.
concerned if we're gonna allow a truck, like I said, maybe in the deal too, you say, we want a truck that's, we want the operator to be properly licensed, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
that's the problem, cause if I had a say in it, because they're zooming past my place all the time back and forth.
Mhm.
Got the school bus turnaround right there, got everything, so that's my concern with the truck being on the road, it's not you guys making extra money, which I think is great, I honestly like that. And if they repair the road, probably the neighbors there won't like it, as long as
Yeah, we
somebody
don't,
gets,
we don't
I
pay
don't
them.
think
over
DEP's
credit.
gonna like it because then it's not going down their creek, and if there is a problem, it's WPX's problem.
correct, and there's another thing, you're dumping it now, or you're letting it go down into the creek, which means that it's getting picked up, so I won't say I'm for or against it, but it's up to you guys to decide on that.
Mhm.
Our side is the safety, we have to live with the vehicles
Right,
that drive around. Beer brought up a good one too, because that road is a nightmare in the wintertime, so.
Oh, yeah.
And if they're not gonna start really doing any work until after September or October.
They'll have to keep it clear too.
Correct.
Is what I'd like to see them.
Keep it
do.
cleared and
They
safe, like
can
I
pick
said,
up the cost of that
Yep.
and so forth. so.
that would be my main focus on it. It
And-
sounds like a good deal, if they're gonna do it, but the problem is gonna be making sure they get that road up to shape. I don't know if you saw my bridge, my little 1957 bridge right there, it got destroyed in 1 week from the heavy truck traffic, and then they spent the last 2.5 months repairing it when they brought it down to 1 lane, so.
I haven't noticed that, but I did notice a problem on 402 near the township line, that bridge has had problems, so yeah.
Correct, and so like I said, I appreciate the answers to it, because that, like I said, there's always a balance, the money sounds great, just wanna make sure it doesn't introduce any kind of safety issue.
And I'll tell you, just your scales thing, I would encourage the township supervisors to buy the scales and do it that way if that's something that interests you.
Well, I'm gonna bring it up because we're gonna have massive, if I had that much traffic going across my house just to go do Franklin or Liberty, I can't imagine if we had 10 well pads going in, might get a.
From what I heard, and this is not official, that the Montrose Borough Police paid for their scales in one truck stop.
One ticket.
One ticket.
Mike Warnick's my neighbor.
No,
he
it can't
told me
be
flat out-
possible, because the scales are, I asked for a price, 22,000.
Well, those tickets are about 15,000.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
Mike-
know. I don't
Mike
know.
Warnick is my neighbor, and I talked to him when they were running, when I moved here, they were having a field day, they were pulling him over left and right, and then it became an issue. You read in the paper, the truck companies cried to everybody that they were being picked on, and you're thinking, oh, you're driving a 40-ton vehicle through my property with my kids, and, we're trying to get to school or whatever, the school buses, we don't wanna have a, whoops, the brakes don't work, or the driver doesn't have a proper licensing, or he's not listing the placard on there. I mean, that's simple stuff, either you're a professional driver and you handle that truck and know that it's mechanically sound, or you don't turn the key and start it, because there's no reason for it to roll, and that was our
Well,
concern.
again, encourage our township supervisors.
I'm gonna go to it, but
Yeah.
They were encouraged last time, and they seem to have no interest.
correct.
Yeah,
I
I
think
know,
that's
and I
We'll
will
keep
say,
pushing.
I did see the video, your video, and I hope you keep it up, because that was great. I couldn't make it to the last meeting, and I've known more than one person that's already watched the video online just to be able to see what's going on
With the
Yeah.
roads, or,
with the township.
The township meeting,
oh, correct.
It's great, so if you are able to keep it up, that's great.
And then the nice thing here is, they allow and have no problem with running a video camcorder. That wasn't,
Yeah.
it's been the same at other places we've
Oh,
stopped.
well, I think you have
Neither
to.
Franklin has it, either Franklin has no problem with it. I think it
you
really,
have to allow
it helps out, I think, both, but I'm saying have to, but from what I've seen, it really helps out both sides. There's no miscommunication, everybody knows what was done. It works out really good for everybody, but thank you guys for,
And thank you for coming.
questions.
Do we have anything else?
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask one more thing, I'm sorry. Are you able to say no to this project? Is this like something that you have no say in, yes or
Oh,
no?
no, we are able to.
You are able to say
Yeah.
no?
Yeah.
We signed
Well,
a good faith letter.
We signed a good faith letter that
They
it's
weren't
something we
wasting
wanna
their
do,
money.
but not that we have to do. But, it is something that we'd like to do in order to help out the municipal authority and the ratepayers keep their costs down.
So then at this point, from what you're saying, the board is in agreement, looks like whole, completely, as far as going for it. Does anybody object on the board at all?
It depends on what the contract says that we ultimately sign with them.
Yeah,
So there could be an objection.
there could be, yes. And again, this could take time. I don't know what the timeline's gonna be. It's definitely not gonna happen by the next meeting. It could be the one after, I
Yeah.
don't know, but and obviously our council's gonna have to look over the agreement, we're gonna put plenty of restrictions on them and so forth. And if you wanna come back in the coming months, we'll try to figure out some way to let you know when we're coming up to the, and have some sort of an agreement.
I do have one more,
Look into the nutrient treating. If
We've
they're
actually tried that.
Yeah, I know, because I know I looked into it, it cost us, what, $4,100 to get the
Yeah.
permit from the SRBC.
Mhm.
we had a meeting with our accountant who's gonna be doing our DCED report. And his recommendation, it was Joanne, myself, Mike, and Sandy, he made a recommendation that we change the capitalization limit from 500 to 5,000. And also, he will be deleting the idea that there has been a management discussion and analysis with the report, since it hasn't happened. We're costing out a lot of small items that are making it extremely lengthy,
Okay.
DCED. So I'd like to make a motion that,
Change the
change the
capitalization limit from 500 to 5,000.
I'll second.
Second. Any, okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carried. Change the capitalization limit from 500 to 5,000 on recommendation of the auditor. And the audit is ongoing, still, we expect, I don't know when we'll have the final.
it has to be filed in June.
Okay. All right,
Motion to adjourn?
motion to adjourn,
That's not-
second, and we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.